Hello, everyone. I'm Christine O. Jackson, the retired executive director of the YWCA, where I served that wonderful organization for 36 years. I'm so pleased to have had the opportunity to be in place to help establish the Martin Luther King celebration. And it is a special pleasure. State Representative Gilliard started this out in the YWCA building all those years ago. And his continuing to do this during the King celebration each year is truly amazing. We are indeed grateful to State Representative Gilliard, and again, congratulations to all of you who are recipients this year and for the many, many persons who have been past recipients of the Dr. Martin Luther King Picture Awards program. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all of the recipients of this year's King Picture Awards. Your commitment to your community in big and small ways is what your fellow citizens remember for years to come. And giving ourselves in service to others is one of the best ways we can honor and remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. Never doubt the impact you can have and the number of lives you can touch with kind actions, words of encouragement, and local leadership. I'd also like to congratulate my good friend, Representative Wendell Gilliard of the King Picture Awards. Wendell is the type of person who lives the values of giving back while also lifting up and honoring others. When we take time to acknowledge the contributions of all citizens, we become stronger as a community. Thank you, Wendell, and to all of this year's award winners for all that you do. I can't wait to see what you all do next. Thank you.
Greetings, Charleston, South Carolina, and especially to my good friend, State Representative Wendell Gilliard. Thank you for remembering, celebrating, and uplifting the life and legacy of my uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You know, Martin Luther King Jr. said everyone can be great because everyone can serve. All you need is a heart and soul full of love and a willingness to give back to the community that has nourished your growth and development. Giving back today ensures that Charleston survives and thrives for the future generations who will need it for their growth and development. That's why the annual Picture Awards are a must, because it acknowledges and salutes those who give back. It celebrates those who make a difference in the community, but more importantly, the Picture Awards encourages others to give back. It encourages others to do their part to improve the life of all in Charleston, South Carolina. So thank you, Wendell, for doing your part to help create that beloved community that Dr. King preached about. Thank you for taking us many steps forward to the promised land that he promised we would reach. Keep up the good work, and God bless you, Wendell.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. inspires me because when I was growing up, I would see footage of the civil rights movement and see youth, young people out there on the front lines being soldiers in the movement. And it let me know that my youth didn't limit my opportunity to change the world. So he inspired me to be active at a young age. And now as a man, I'm even more inspired to work with youth to change the world as we see it today and make it better for the next generations.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a huge inspiration to not only me, but also to my peers. While a lot of the times in history, people wanted to make change by using violence, and yet no matter how detrimental it became and no matter how stressful it became, he always found ways to just be as peaceful and as nice and as kind as possible. And as a pacifist who absolutely despises violence and is a huge activist against violence, it means a lot to me to know that I can make a change without being as aggressive as we have been in history. And if it wasn't for him changing segregation and helping make history a better thing, I wouldn't have been able to exist, especially since I'm a biracial child.
So I'm honored today to be a part of this celebration and to be recognized with an MLK Picture Award. With this prestigious honor, I reflect on the fact of how Dr. King, in his leadership style, which I feel has been a very intricate part of my life and how it has impacted me throughout my career in my leadership in my political arena. Dr. King displayed leadership skills throughout his tenure when he's leading people with breaking down barriers and talk about how do we overcome these issues and dealing with them doing nonviolence type discussion. And that type of leadership helped me to identify a way of a pathway moving forward on how we can communicate around the table, discussing issues and talking about how we can make these changes with the collaboration with everyone across the board. And Dr. King did that in his leadership style through the nonviolence type measure. And that in itself has been a great impact on me. And that's something that I've taken and applied to my skill set in helping to reach people beyond these walls and these barriers, bringing the solution along with the problem and trying to identify those issues. And I thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this prestigious honor.
Hello, I would like to thank you for nominating me for this award. First off, I would like to say that I was inspired by Dr. King as a young child, listening to him speak at a church in my neighborhood. And during that time, I also noticed that he set goals in his life to do things, and that's the way I try to pattern myself after him. You have to find something that you love to do and be dedicated to it. Also, you have to be obligated to seeing things through. And last, you have to be tolerant because nothing comes easy. And this year, but we learn to live with each other and do things right, we'll be all right. And I just want to say again, thank you for the opportunity for this award.
I would like to thank God for the many blessings He has bestowed upon me. Also, I would like to thank State Representative Wendell Gilliard for this prestigious Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Portrait Award. Dr. King, I Have a Dream speech impacted my life in many different ways. It showed me the way to the mountaintop, overcoming all the adversities and obstacles of a young black boy from Johns Island, graduating from South Carolina State University, winning a Super Bowl, and giving back to the community where it all got started. The Charlie Brown Foundation, always giving back, serving underprivileged kids and communities, a dream that came true. Again, I would like to thank Representative Gilliard for this great award. I also would like to congratulate all the recipients receiving this award.
My name is Calvin Campbell. I am a junior at Burke High School, and thank you for letting me be nominated for this MLK Award. Martin Luther King Jr. had a positive impact on the world as well as myself. He demonstrated peace in the face of violence to me, no matter the cost, and because of Dr. King, I could probably say that through the doors of Burke High School walks the finest scholars ever. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank Representative Wendell Gilliard and his committee for selecting me to be a recipient for one of the MLK Awards this year. Growing up in a little small town in Giveon, South Carolina, Dr. King inspired me and many others because my family didn't have a whole lot, and we did the best that we could. But having an inspirational leader like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to encourage us to keep the faith, to be such a young man that was willing to give up his life for us to have equal rights, the right to vote, and the right to equal pay. It just really inspired me so much. And one of his inspirational sayings that I keep in the back of my mind is, be a bush if you can't be a tree. Be a trail if you can't be a highway. If you can't be the sun, be a star. because it isn't by size that if you win or fail. Just be the best at whatever you are. I'm Cynthia Austin Bell. Thank you very much.
My involvement with the African American Settlement Commission as vice president, which kind of oversees the settlement committees east of the Cooper, and I also serve as the president of the East Cooper Civic Club, which is active in the Scanlonville-Remleys Point area. I think the award is very nice, very timely. This Martin Luther King Recognition Award. The attributes that I think Martin Luther King exhibited that really influenced me was his empathy, courage, and his faith. I think those are three strong attributes that inspire me to keep going and have a vision to help other folks beside myself and realize that the world is much larger than the individual. We are all just a tiny part of a much larger reality.
Hello, I'm glad to be before you this evening representing the Michelle Obama Club out of Jasper County, South Carolina. I am very, very appreciative of the great work of this committee recognizing persons and organizations across the state of South Carolina that are working to improve the quality of life for our brothers and sisters. And I am more than honored to be a part of the Michelle Obama Club, which is a recipient of this year's award. Dr. Martin Luther King was a very, very influential part of my life growing up. I am a product of that era. I came up in the 60s and the latter 50s. And I would like to say to me, he was my hero. And he stood for possibilities in my life. He left me always with the belief that I could do anything and change anything and improve the quality of life, not only for myself, but more so for those around me.
So one of the interviews that has inspired me so much by Dr. King was the interview that he spoke about the bootless man and how the America should look at this individual and expect so much of them, and they don't even have boots to pull their own scraps up. With seeing that in the different civil rights movements, I've instilled that same attitude in the rural pocket areas of South Carolina, with allowing them to have boots on and have scraps to actually pull themselves up, and in that form of vehicles that I've created a foundation to be able to help them out with that. So in essence of Dr. King speaking about the bootless man, we try to make sure that vehicles are the boots that the rural populated people needs. So with that, we just try to continue on. Thanks a lot for the honor of having this great opportunity to represent Dr. King.
I would like to say that I am both extremely humble and grateful for being chosen for this award. I would like to personally thank Wendell Gilliard for all that he has done in the community. Dr. King once said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hatred, only love can do that." And within our community, we can attest that we have seen many dark days. And my goal is to become that light for our community. I, for one, can say that I have seen his dream come true. For God has blessed me to become the youngest state representative and black female for District 116, also as well as the youngest funeral home owner in the state of South Carolina. I believe in fighting for equality and justice for all blacks and minorities, and I believe in seeing my community thrive. I'm an advocate for necessary changes, although it's not always popular, but I will inspire others to think and take actions that they believe and pursue. So let's follow the dream of Dr. King and respect others with love.
Hi, I'm Steve Crumley, Operations Manager and Director of Programming for the Charleston Radio Group. The question being, how does Dr. King affect me and what do I think of him and this birthday and this award? I met Dr. King when I was a very, very young man at the radio station in my hometown in Philadelphia. And he came into town, and the short version of it was, he saw the operations manager who was white, and he said, one day, African Americans will have that position. Well, back then, everybody thought that was impossible. Well, in 2005, when I became an operations manager, it made a lot of sense to me to realize that with his sacrifice was one of the reasons why we were able to have this position. So yes, his prediction of what could be in the future, where we all could join hands and walk together, black, white, no color involved, his dream did come true. I thank you for that dream, Dr. King.
My name is Terry Mims. I'm here to talk about my father, O'Neal Banks. He was a freedom rider in the early 60s, 1961 to be exact. He was 17 years old when he boarded that bus and took that ride. Freedom riders, white, black, all of them were arrested. All of them stood trial. And that ended the buses being segregated in the South because of those riders. As far as I know, he's the only survivor, because he was 17 at the time. Most of the participants were in their 20s and 30s. He's 79 today. He's alive and well back in Jackson, Mississippi. He's in his right mind. You can find him and all the freedom riders in the museum in Jackson, but freedom riders are a matter of public record. They're in the public domain, and they will be forever.